Have you ever wondered why every group of friends, every workplace, and every ancient human tribe always seems to have that one person who just doesn't quite fit the mold? The eccentric, the outcast, the weirdo. From the moment we enter school, we are taught to blend in, to follow the rules, and to be perfectly normal. But evolutionary psychology tells a completely different story. Being the weird one wasn't a flaw in the system. It was a biological necessity. In fact, if your tribe didn't have a weird person, your tribe probably didn't survive. And today, I am going to show you exactly why the weirdest people in the room are usually the ones holding the key to everyone else's survival, and how you can harness this ancient psychological advantage in your own modern life to build true independence and wealth. Let's rewind the clock a few 100,000 years. Imagine a tribe of early humans trying to survive in a harsh, unforgiving environment. To stay alive, they needed absolute cohesion. They needed a shared set of rules. When the leader said run, everyone ran. When the leader said hide, everyone hid. If you questioned the rules, you endangered the entire group. This is the origin of conformity. We are biologically wired to want to fit in because, for 99% of human history, fitting in meant not being eaten by a predator. We developed an intense psychological fear of social rejection. This is why public speaking is the #1 fear for most people, even above death. Your brain literally interprets social isolation as a physical death sentence. The group provided safety, shared resources, and protection. If you were cast out, you were as good as dead. Therefore, the vast majority of people evolved to be highly attuned to social norms, constantly scanning their environment to ensure they were acting in accordance with the tribe's expectations. But here is the evolutionary paradox. If everyone in the tribe thought exactly the same way, the tribe was ultimately doomed. If everyone agreed that the best place to hunt was the valley, but the valley suddenly dried up due to a climate shift, the tribe would starve to death together. Complete conformity leads to a dead end when the environment changes. And the environment always changes. A tribe of purely normal, rule-following individuals is incredibly stable in a static environment, but it is incredibly fragile in a dynamic one. They lack the behavioral flexibility to adapt to new threats or discover new resources. This is exactly where the weird person comes in. Every successful tribe produced individuals who simply did not process the world like everyone else. Maybe their brains were wired differently. Maybe they were highly sensitive to environmental changes that others ignored. Maybe they were intensely focused on obscure details. Or maybe they just completely lacked the social software that compelled them to follow the hierarchy. Historically, these people often became the shamans, the healers, the solitary explorers, or the obsessive inventors. While the normal people were busy hunting and gathering according to the established, proven rules, the weird person was sitting by the fire, obsessively mixing strange plants together, or wandering off in the opposite direction to see what was behind the distant mountain range. Most of the time, the weird person's experiments failed. They ate the wrong berry and got severely sick. They wandered into a rival tribe's territory and got chased out. The tribe essentially outsourced its evolutionary risk to the eccentric. The normal people maintained the status quo, ensuring the day-to-day survival of the group, while the weird person explored the extreme fringes of reality, ensuring the long-term adaptation of the species. But occasionally, the weird person discovered fire, or agriculture, or a revolutionary new hunting tool. And when that happened, the weird person's strange obsession suddenly saved everyone. This dynamic hasn't changed at all. Have you noticed this pattern in your own life? Have you ever felt like the weird one in your family or friend group, constantly questioning things that everyone else just accepts as normal? Let me know in the comments below if you've ever felt like you just see the world on a completely different frequency than everyone around you. Because if you have, you are actually playing a vital, ancient evolutionary role. Fast forward to today. We no longer live in small tribes wandering the savannah. We live in massive, interconnected digital societies. But our brains are still running on that exact same ancient tribal software. We still deeply crave conformity. And modern society is incredibly efficient at mass-producing normalcy. Our educational systems teach us to memorize the exact same answers to pass the exact same standardized tests. Corporate jobs train us to follow the same standard operating procedures without questioning the underlying logic. Social media algorithms feed us the exact same opinions as our peers, creating massive, inescapable echo chambers that reinforce conventional thinking. The terrifying problem is that the world is changing faster today than at any other point in human history. Technology, the economy, and culture are shifting at breakneck speed. Artificial intelligence is rewriting the rules of labor. Economic systems are experiencing unprecedented volatility. A society of pure conformists cannot survive this level of disruption. When the rules of the game change overnight, the people who have spent their entire lives perfectly executing the old rules are the most vulnerable. They have no backup plan because they never strayed from the designated path. We need the weirdos now more than ever. We need the people who ask wildly uncomfortable questions. The people who absolutely refuse to accept, because that's how we've always done it, as a valid answer to any problem. Think about the most successful entrepreneurs, revolutionary artists, and breakthrough innovators of our time. None of them were normal. They were deeply obsessed. They were radically unconventional. They were the weird ones in their respective tribes. They saw inefficiencies that normal people ignored, and they built solutions that normal people thought were impossible. Let's talk about the practical application of this evolutionary truth. How does being weird translate into real-world success, specifically in your career and your financial independence? In a highly competitive, globalized economy, normalcy is a severely depreciating commodity. If you have the exact same skills, the exact same resume, and the exact same ideas as 10,000 other people competing for the same position, you have absolutely zero leverage. You are easily replaceable. And when you are easily replaceable, your market value drops to the absolute minimum. To build true wealth and true freedom, you have to find your unique edge. And your edge is almost always hidden deeply inside your weirdness. Your unique obsessions, your unconventional combinations of skills, the strange, esoteric hobbies you have that no one else in your circle understands. That is your economic moat. If you are a brilliant software engineer who is also deeply obsessed with the history of ancient philosophy, that is a very weird combination. But it might make you the only person in the world capable of designing a specific type of ethical artificial intelligence. Your weirdness is your scarcity, and in economics, scarcity drives value. By the way, if you are finding this breakdown valuable, and it's fundamentally changing how you view your own unique traits and perceived flaws, drop a quick like on this video. It tells the algorithm to push this message to other unconventional thinkers who might really need to hear it today. Unfortunately, most people spend their entire lives trying to cure their weirdness. They spend enormous amounts of psychological energy sanding down their rough edges so they can fit neatly into a perfectly square hole. They hide their bizarre interests. They bite their tongues during meetings. They dress like everyone else and talk like everyone else. This is not just a massive waste of human potential. It is deeply, physically exhausting. When you spend your days suppressing your true nature, you experience chronic baseline stress. You feel like a constant imposter in your own life, running a background program of anxiety to ensure your mask never slips. The ultimate goal of personal development and self-improvement is not to become a perfect, flawless, socially acceptable robot. The goal is to aggressively lean into your natural asymmetries. If you are naturally introverted and intensely analytical, do not force yourself to become a loud, backslapping, charismatic salesperson just because society says that's what success looks like. Lean into your analytical nature until you are the most dangerous, effective strategist in the room. Double down on your weirdness. The objective is to find the specific environment where your weirdness is no longer a social liability, but an absolute, undeniable superpower. But here is the difficult catch that you must navigate. Being the weird person in the wrong tribe is an absolutely miserable experience. If you are a highly ambitious visionary surrounded by people who only care about office gossip and the weekend football game, you will be ostracized. You will be subtly, or not so subtly, told that you are crazy. You will be pressured to quiet down, to stop dreaming so big, and to just accept reality as it is. Your tribe will instinctively try to pull you back to the average because your nonconformity triggers their ancient tribal anxiety. Are you currently surrounded by people who make you feel like your ambitions are completely ridiculous? Share your experience in the comments. Let's get a discussion going about the reality of outgrowing your environment. because it is one of the hardest transitions a person can make. The incredible news is that the internet has fundamentally broken this ancient geographic limitation. For the first time in human history, you are no longer limited to the specific physical tribe you were randomly born into. You can find your highly specific brand of weirdos anywhere on the planet. If you are obsessed with obscure ancient history and decentralized cryptoeconomics, there is a vibrant community of thousands of people who share that exact same bizarre obsession. You do not have to change who you are to fit in. You just have to have the courage to leave the wrong tribe and seek out the right one. And when you finally find the right tribe, your weirdness suddenly becomes your greatest asset. It becomes the exact magnetic force that draws the right people, the right opportunities, and the right resources directly to you. If you've made it this far into the video, it's almost certainly because you resonate deeply with this message. You are probably the one in your family who is actively trying to break generational curses. You are the one trying to start a completely new business while everyone else you know is perfectly content clocking into a 9-to-5 job they hate. You are the weird one. And I am here to tell you that this is exactly what you are supposed to be. Your nonconformity is not a character flaw. It is an evolutionary feature. If you want to keep exploring the deep psychology of success, wealth building, and how to construct a life completely on your own terms outside the matrix of normalcy, make sure you hit that subscribe button right now. We dive deep into these unconventional topics every single week, and you genuinely do not want to miss the strategies we are going to unpack next. Embrace the parts of yourself that make absolutely no sense to the normal people around you. Stop apologizing for your unconventional ideas and your obsessive pursuits. The tribe desperately needs you to be exactly who you are, even if they don't realize it yet. The world doesn't move forward because of the normal people who kept their heads down and followed the rules. The world moves forward because of the weird ones who dare to look up, question everything, and build something entirely new. Go. Find your true tribe, double down on your obsessions, and let your weirdness change the world. See you in the next one.